Hello friends, it's time to grow your business with Longrich TV Network. Navigate to our Facebook page for more inspirational videos to help you grow your business. Longrich, better life, better future.
Don't forget to visit our head office in Randburg, number 366 Pretoria Avenue for weekly training and presentations. Longrich, better life, better future.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is your host, Pastor Sifiso. Yes, indeed, it's been a while that I haven't been with you, but I'm glad. It's an honor for me to be connecting with you tonight once more on this beautiful evening. I just thought that tonight we could actually connect and begin to engage on a sequel, basically a continuation of what my sister and partner has actually been talking about, I think in about a week, ago. My focus tonight will be still on the subject of weathering the storm. So because I believe that it is imperative, it is very important for us to weather the storm because our businesses have to succeed. Thank you very much to all of you that are connecting right now. I can see you from Mozambique. I can see you, Sister Sylvia, all the way from Accra, Ghana. Thank you so much for connecting. I believe that we're going to have an excellent time tonight. Make it a point that you invite all of your friends, all of your partners. Let them just connect with us and let us just, engage and discuss on this wonderful, subject and see how we can actually help each other, as we progress. We do believe and agree that the times that we live in right now are really perilous. They are not easy at all. And I believe that success in times like this depends on how much one iron is able to sharpen the other. So I believe that tonight, as you are gathering here, iron will be sharpening iron, and we will definitely be able to get out of this space a better people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's quite a wonderful evening tonight, and I'm glad to be connecting with you live on the Longrich TV network. As basically as I will be, starting, or maybe just as the beginning of my reflections and conversation, with you tonight, I would basically start by saying a statement that I said to someone earlier on today, that I love the business platform that I'm in. I love network marketing as a business platform. Why do I love it? I love it because it is a business platform that is focused on me as an individual. It is a business platform that is based on autonomy. It is a business platform that is based on independence. Those are actually very, very powerful attributes on their own, but depending on who you are and where you are, they could actually be very, very difficult, or maybe they could result in very difficult predicaments that you could actually be facing. But the truth is, network marketing is a business that is focused on autonomy and independence. Now, let us just engage on these two statements or words so that we can actually be able to lay the foundation and begin to be able to move forward. Independence basically means self-sustaining. Independence basically means being able to function and fulfill by yourself without depending on anyone or any external force. Autonomy is basically an emphatic statement that adds on that independence that I was talking about. In other words, if something is autonomous, it basically means that it is able to stand by itself. It is able to face any issues and challenges by itself. It has governing structures that are centered on itself. In other words, it is able to prevail over every situation by itself. It has all the qualities that are required. It has all the strength that is required for it to be able to succeed and be able to move forward. In other words, it is able to decide as to what direction needs to be taken at any given time without needing to wait for authority or maybe approvals from wherever, that could actually be. So network marketing is a similar business. When you come into this type of a platform, you come in by yourself. Yes, you are basically introduced by somebody else, but you come in to become an independent business owner. So I just want to bring an emphasis on the importance of understanding the concept of being an independent business owner. Because as I've said in my opening, that aspect of independence, as much as it is good, it could actually become detrimental or maybe a tough call for certain individuals that find themselves in the space of business. It becomes a tough call in a sense that when the going gets tough, which is basically what I want us to focus on tonight, we then begin to ask ourselves a question that what type of makeup do I have as an individual? What makes me? What forms me? What is it that defines me as an individual? And that makeup will basically determine my ability to move further, even in my state of independence, irrespective of what storm or challenges that could actually arise around me. So it is very important that we understand that aspect, because as I've just indicated a bit earlier, I am an independent business owner within this type of a setup that we find ourselves in. But the most important thing, we need to make it a point that we understand the other underlying aspect of network marketing. Yes, I've said in the beginning that network marketing is a platform that is based on independence and autonomy. However, having said that, network marketing thrives on collectivism. Network marketing thrives on collectivism. What do I mean by that? As much as I am autonomous and independent in nature within the space of network marketing, my success depends on collectivism. It depends on how I'm able to embrace the collective that gathers around me to form this thing that is called a network. So what I'm trying to get to basically is that this then triggers another aspect which is then important. An aspect of saying, as much as I am independent and autonomous, I am not by myself. I therefore need to be considerate of the collective that is beginning to form around me. Now that begins then to bring in an aspect that is very, very important, which is an aspect of leadership. And I would quickly say leadership is one of the key pillars in any business, more especially in network-based businesses. Why am I saying that? It's because the minute you decide to step into this space, you are bound to attract individuals towards you. The types of individuals that you attract, they are coming in different forms. We once had a conversation with someone whereby we were saying, network marketing is exciting, but the other sad part about it is that it collects everyone. It collects everything, including, pardon me for the pun, all forms of garbage. In other words, it is in a form of saying, like a fisher that uses a net, as opposed to a fisher that uses a rod. One that uses a net casts the net into the river or into the ocean and pulls out the net onto the boat. What comes into the boat is beyond what the fisher was expecting to find when the fisher cast the net. So what I'm trying to get to is that, therefore, it then begins to trigger the importance of skillful leadership in terms of being able to manage whatever that you have caught with your net. Because remember, what you went out for was to catch fish. But when you find crab in the net, the question is, what do you do with the crab? Do you see value in the crab? When you find eel in the net, what do you do with the eel? Do you find value in the eel? Those are some of the key questions that you need to begin then to ask yourself. But I would quickly say to you, leadership then plays a key role in anyone that comes into the space of network-based entrepreneurship, because as you begin to attract individuals, you then need to apply, yes, exactly that, Ospulani, skillful leadership. As you have just indicated there, you need to apply skillful leadership to make it a point that you are able to advance further on your goals. Someone could have said, no, I didn't come here for eel. I only came for fish. And they take the eel and throw it out. Someone would say, oh my goodness, I did not know that there would be eel in this river or ocean. I'm so glad that I caught it, because what this means is that I've got something that would enhance my value or the value of my effort today. What I'm getting to basically is to say, the individuals that we tend to gather or bring or attract towards ourselves in our businesses, we need to be able to look at them and say, wow, what value is there in these individuals? What can I do with these people to make it a point that I can move forward? For a skillful leader, that begins to manifest in times like where we are today. Leader Kosi said a very powerful statement in the previous segment, that she was engaging us on. She said, it is important to acknowledge that there is a possibility that your business might be facing a storm. And that begins to then call for reflection. It then begins to call for reflection on the current state. She used the words like saying you need to be in a position to do self-introspection as well as SWOT analysis. In other words, reviewing and analyzing the space that you find yourself at that particular time. And I would quickly say, storms are not unique to network-based businesses. Storms would hit any type of business or even life, in general. All of us as we are globally, but let's say specifically you yourselves that are listening to me right now, you would actually agree with me that even within your personal lives, there are times where you find yourself going through storms. And it is in those storms that you then need to be able to ask yourself a question: am I getting out of this storm alive? Or, as Leader Kosi said last week, am I giving up? Am I quitting? Because to some people, storms basically trigger an essence, or maybe that sense of saying, I'm quitting. That sense of defeat might arise because of the storms that some people experience. But I would say to you, it is in your leadership ability that you would actually begin to rise and be able to maneuver or to get out of the space that you are in. I threw a comment in some of the social spaces, even on my Facebook earlier on today, where I was saying storms will always be with us. But it is in our ability to maneuver through even the most of intense situations that our quality is defined. Your quality is who you are. And who you are is defined by your ability to maneuver through whatever situation that you face or that you come across in life. This word maneuver begins to intrigue me. When you look onto the Webster dictionary, you then begin to understand that to maneuver is to move something or someone in a careful and usually skillful way. Okay, you move something in a careful and skillful way. That is to maneuver. Now, you find your business or yourself being in a predicament because of a storm that you are facing. Now, maneuvering yourself or your business basically means moving yourself or your business carefully and skillfully out of the space that you're finding yourself in. Another point says to do something in an effort to get an advantage. Now, I love this one very much because what it says to me is that when my business is facing difficulty, the question is, am I the type of a leader that is skillful enough to find things to do in an effort to get an advantage in the situation that I'm facing? That, I think, is a question that many of us would need to ask ourselves today. This is 2021. We are just in the middle of a very, very difficult situation within, our global economies. 2022 laid a foundation of a terrible situation and circumstances that many of us are finding ourselves in. And I will say very quickly that as much as I advocate for network-based businesses, network marketing, MLM for that matter, I would quickly say we are not immune of these challenges and difficulties that come as a result of this pandemic that we are facing. We are not immune. However, I would quickly also say, because of the nature of our business, we are able, if we are smart, to cushion the impact, or maybe to apply the shock absorbers that are embedded in this nature of business so that we can be able to survive, so that we can be able to rise up beyond this particular storm. But the question is, are we skillful enough to be able to do that thing in an effort to get an advantage? Are we able to do that? That is the question. And I believe that for us to be able to rise beyond our storms, for us to be able to weather the storms, for us to be able to emerge strong and successful, irrespective of what the challenges are that we are facing, we need to be able to be, we need to be able to have the skill of maneuvering. You know, if you are in Johannesburg, or maybe let me not say Johannesburg, because compared to Kinshasa, the traffic dynamics on the streets of Johannesburg, it is nothing. But if you find yourself driving in the streets of Kinshasa, you would actually have or need to have the skill to maneuver with your car amidst that congestion that could actually be there. And in your maneuvering, you need to make it a point that you get out of there without any dent on your car. So the point that I'm trying to get to is that in these times that are perilous, as I've indicated in the beginning, many casualties tend to arise. But I believe that the casualties are as a result of lack of skill in the process of or maybe functioning, or maybe maneuvering in whatever it is that we are looking at. So it is very, very important that we understand this aspect. The most critical point that I would like you to get out of this is that you need to be a leader that is skillful enough to maneuver. Now, this basically calls for something that I look up to very dearly. There is a statement that I've got, that I got a few, years ago from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn said a very powerful statement, and it is a statement that resonates with a number of us, as we are watching right now. And I've heard it being echoed by other great leaders. It is a statement, I'm just going to paraphrase it. It basically talks to the network marketing space being the type of an environment that makes you to become a better person as you progress with diligence. In other words, as you emerge successful in network marketing, look at yourself as you were in the beginning and as you are then, and you will realize that there is a change, there is a difference. Why? Because our nature, the nature of our business is one that says, my success will depend on my willingness to become a better person as I progress. So if in the beginning I did not have the skills to maneuver, my ability to acquire that skill and then be able to maneuver through the storms that I face will determine the better person that I become. And as a result, will then show forth the successes that I will able to portray out there. I would quickly say this. as much as I did not ask for this permission, but I would believe that even our leaders, I mean, my dearest leader that I'm very, very close to, SD Vivian, I believe that the successes that she has today, when she looks at herself, not necessarily because of the financial benefits or material benefit, but I believe that in terms of the social makeup, the intellectual makeup, the emotional makeup that she has developed to become is a leap compared to where she was when she started this business. And the same would apply to many other successful leaders in this type of space. What you become, or maybe what you allow yourself to become in this business, will determine your level of success in it. So, as I would urge you today, is that as a leader, become a leader that is willing to acquire the skill that will help you to maneuver through the storms so that you can actually be able to emerge successful in every area of your life or in everything that you pursue in this business. I spoke about the aspect of innovation, which I believe is actually very, very critical, in what we're looking at. But before I dwell deeper on the aspect of innovation, I just want to bring in this point that as we look at the global impact and accepting that it is a reality that we need to understand that we cannot be raptured out of, but we need to be able to say, what skills can we devise that would actually help us to be able to live successfully amidst the global impact or maybe global predicaments that we find ourselves in? And yes, truly, that will begin to give us a quantum leap, as you have just said there, Leader Pulani. Yes, that quantum leap will come as a result of skillful application of innovation. Now, the key thing that I'll actually identify here is that, number one, it is important that as we are in this space, remember what I said a bit earlier, network marketing is a business that is based on autonomy, okay? And it is also based on you being yourself. In other words, independence and autonomy, but it also thrives in collectivism. So the people that you attract gets connected with you. Now, the question then that arises is, have you ever taken time to identify the strengths of your people or the people within your team? Why? Because those individuals that you have within your team are coming to you with different skill sets, with different abilities, with different capabilities. And the minute you can have the wisdom of identify first, and then begin to leverage on those particular strengths and skills, you might find it difficult for yourself to maneuver or even weather the storms that you might be facing. In other words, it becomes important that, one, you identify those strengths and then be prepared to leverage those particular strengths and skills so that you can actually be able to rise with your collective. It is very, very important. I'll make a very quick example. The business that I'm partnered with, or maybe the brand that I've partnered with, have come, especially in the side of the business, or maybe the market where we are in the Southern Hemisphere, have come to a point of saying, you know what, we have no option but to increase the price of our products because of the various factors that we are looking at. Now, that is a factor that I, as an independent business owner, cannot do anything much about, because business has actually weighed the odds and come up with a decision. Now, my question then is, as a leader, what is it that I will be able to do at this particular point? Will I, number one, begin to mama bigger and do all those things and end up throwing a towel because of the despondency that I would find myself in? Or will I be innovative enough to say, these products are still powerful in quality, albeit that the price has gone up? What is it that I can do to make it a point that Even with the price or the new price, I'm still able to penetrate the market, because for me, it is not about the price, but it is about the quality of the product that I have. Number one of my friends said this in the past, that price increase does not dilute the solution that is embedded in the product. I'm going to say that again. Price increase does not dilute the solution that is embedded in the product. So if you once believed in the product to be a solution giver, price increase does not diminish the value that is embedded in the product. So because of that, I will begin to hold on that particular quality and be the one that I carry out or maybe position into the market. And as a result, I will not be phased or swayed by the price increase that is there. Now, the truth is, there will be individuals around me that will begin to be despondent, or maybe begin to feel the pinch, in relation to how do I call this, the impacts of this particular price increase. It therefore becomes my responsibility as a leader to communicate this in a smart way to my team members, so that I can actually be able to win their confidence as a collective. Because if I don't do that, I'm going to stagger in my business. Instead of being three-legged, I'm going to find myself being one-legged, and I'm not going to be able to progress. Why? Because I need 3 legs to succeed. I need 3 legs to progress. If I don't bring in this collective, if I don't bring them into my confidence, I'm going to find myself being one-legged, and I'm not going to be able to progress. Now, it therefore becomes important that I become skillful. But many a times, it might not be easy for you to win the collective by yourself. However, if you were that smart leader that was able to identify the strengths within your team, be able to identify the skills within your team, you might find that there are better communicators within your team that would actually be able to carry this message out with ease, so that they can actually be able to win the hearts of many other people within the collective that you have attracted towards yourself. I hope this is clear. You would then be able to identify and say, wow, there are some analysts within my team that could actually be better suited to analyze the situation and the dynamics that we are facing, and be able to devise solutions that would then begin to better improve or maybe benefit us as a collective. What are you doing by then? You are actually leveraging on the strengths that you have now seen within your teams. So it therefore becomes very, very important, because in times like what we're looking at right now, by ourselves, we can be weak, but as a team, as a collective, we will remain strong. It is for this reason that I would again say we need to use these strengths to develop what I call an innovation network around ourselves. And this innovation network that I'm talking about is the one that will come with different qualities and be able to help you as a leader to look smart. That will help you as a leader to emerge successful, irrespective of what you might have been facing in your process. It is very, very important. Now, what I would say is that as you do that, leveraging on various skills and strengths that you are identifying within your team, you need to then say to yourself, my focus is to build synergic alliances. Okay? Remember, you're building 3 organizations if you are one of us within Longreach. Now, as you're building 3 organizations, as much as each organization is independent in its own leg, but if you are a smart leader, you would actually be able to say, without promoting cross-lining, you would actually be able to identify co-leaders that you can work with to build this synergic alliance that would impact your entire team as a collective, and therefore be able to advance and be able to move forward. Listen to me. I mean, I was saying this to myself, that if in the midst of challenges that my team is facing in the DRC, and there could be one young guy, that would be like, for instance, a young man called Jaden, that is able to say week in and week out, produce PV, irrespective of how much PV it is. But without fail, there is PV that is emerging in a market that is challenged. That for me says, it basically means there is innovation within that individual. Now, what I need to do is to highlight that person, bring him closer, and work with him within the synergic alliance that I'm forming, so that the team in Botswana can be able to learn from the skills that he's applying in the DRC. In that way, the alliance that I'm forming within my team, it is strategic. I'm then bringing them together, yes, Nonjavu, as you have just indicated, to build that collective that would work with me to make it a point that I leverage on the multiple strengths and be able to emerge successful as a leader. I believe that by doing that, many of us will begin to look smart, will begin to look better than we are. We will begin to rise beyond whatever issues and challenges that we are facing. As I draw to closer, the last point that I want to bring in here before I summarize this is that we need to learn as leaders to practice agility. We need to be flexible. I love scientists, and I would quickly say we need to become like scientists. Scientists, what they do, if you have actually paid attention, even within this COVID period that we find ourselves in, scientists, they keep on testing and reviewing for them to get to a point of perfection. You know, in the process of developing a vaccine, they would test and review, because why? They are pursuing that perfection that they're looking forward to. So if they were to find that something is not working in the combination that they've put together, they would actually abandon one part, introduce another. And that is called agility. You need to be able to be flexible so that you are able to emerge with the perfection that you want for your business. So it is therefore important that in your process of building this synergic alliance, you also keep in mind the importance of agility, so that that which does not work, you do not get stuck on it, but you are agile enough to replace it with new things that works, and then be able to move forward. It is very, very important. The various people that you have in your business have got different approaches to innovation. They've got different ideas. They've got different concepts. Some of them are researchers. Some of them are experts in their own right. Exploit that ability and that strength so that you can actually be able to rise up and pursue your objectives without fail in terms of achievement. So one key thing that I would say, or maybe just a few points that I would say in the process of building this innovative network, is number one, learn to be a connector instead of a divider. Because the truth is, many people thrive in dividing, but the sustainable thing is to build connections. You need to become a leader that connects people emotionally, connects people intellectually, connect people even physically, so that you can actually be able to thrive and be able to move forward. As you do that, set the boundaries of relationship and begin to engage the individuals that you bring together. Because by doing that, you are then able to govern and manage some of the issues and challenges that are pertinent within our type of network, especially in relation to cross-lining and things like those. But if you are a smart leader and within your core network, that synergic alliance that you have built, that network of innovators, if you are able to build or set those boundaries, you will then be able to define engagement parameters that would help you to advance in your business. The third aspect would then be to make it a point that as a leader, you support the team that you have established and provide oversight and governance so that that which you have put in place, you are then able to manage and track. Management and tracking basically talks to plan, do, review. In other words, what you have planned, you execute, and then you review it. If it doesn't work, you devise other means to make it a point that it becomes practical and effective in terms of moving forward. So you manage and track the performance or the execution of that which you have actually put in place. It is very, very important. Now, innovation comes in two ways, okay? There is innovation that is radical and innovation that is incremental. And both these innovations are actually, they find room in any situation that we find ourselves in. I would quickly say to you, people like Mark Zuckerberg, or maybe these rich young guys, and even men that we have and women that we know of, the Bezos of this world, the Mark Zuckerbergs of this world, this young guy from Pretoria that is Mr. Tesla. What's his name again? How can I forget him? Elon Musk. If you look at them in the midst of the pandemic, they came up with radical innovations that actually made it a point that it sets them apart from other people that could actually be there, or even business players that could actually be there in the world. That is why you'd find Bezos within no time surpassing all brains in terms of wealth. Why? Because a radical innovation came into play. And people like Warren Buffett that we knew to be great leaders and the highest, or top richest people in the world for a while, very quickly, because of radical innovation, they slept. They just slipped, and they slipped down the ranks in terms of the wealthiest individuals in the world. So I'm basically trying to say radical innovation has got room in terms of disrupting the status quo and making it a point that you arise or you emerge successful or maybe top, irrespective of what you're looking at. So ask yourself a question. In your network marketing business today, where can you apply radical innovation? And what is the form of radical innovation that you can bring in that would ensure that you are able to arise and come out successful or emerge successful in the midst of the challenges that we are facing? Remember, what we are talking about today is weathering the storms of business so that your business can be successful. It is through radical innovation that you can actually build or bring about a catalyst that would ensure speedy and quick success in your business that would then begin to set you apart. Now, once you have introduced a radical innovation, you then need to bring in what I call incremental innovation to sustain that which you have elevated yourself to. Incremental innovation basically says you bring in innovation step by step. And as you introduce layers of innovation upon layer, you will then make it a point that you are able to sustain the best that you have become in the business. So as I draw to closure, I just wanted to bring about this to say there is no reason to despair. There is no reason to give up. As long as you are still connected to the company that you believe in, as long as the products that you once believed in are still existent, listen, you need to make it a point that you think outside the box so that you can see yourself rising beyond the storm that you are facing. Make it a point that you apply any form of wisdom that could actually be within you. And if you're a person like me, seek grace so that you can actually be able to see yourself rising, from the ashes or maybe the difficulties that you find yourself in. It is possible. As I always say, but it all depends on who you are, your makeup mentally, where you are, what do you see, your perception. Do you just see death or you see hope? Remember, even in dry bones, there could be life. You just need to speak the word, and the sinews will find its bone, and flesh will begin to connect, and life will arise. So as we are listening to my voice tonight, I would basically just to urge us to say, remember, storms are not forever. And even in the middle of a storm, you need to prepare yourself for future growth, because it is only those smart leaders that are able to see beyond the storm that will prepare for future growth, even in the midst of a storm. So there are many areas that I believe that could actually arise as a niche for you and I. But it is only through foresight, it is only through wisdom and intelligence that we can see that. Let me just throw in this last counsel as I close. Bickering has never built anything sustainable. Bickering always destroys. Stay away from all those gossips and bickering, and make it a point that you focus yourself on constructive criticism that is able to build something that is solid. On that note, I'd like to invite everyone that says, listen, I really want to see myself rising beyond the storm and being able to weather it and see my business succeed, to say, renew your mind, think differently, have a renewed perception in life, and make it a point that as you do that, you rise beyond the storm. It is possible. Adopt the mindset of an eagle and make it a point that you succeed. On that note, I would like to thank you very much for your connections. Thank you, Sifiso Sibeko, my partner. This was inspired by you. You know, the teaching that you gave us last week, it actually inspired me greatly. And I said, let me just bring this in tonight and encourage, bring about hope, stir the hope, and revive the vision, in that particular individual out there that is actually feeling despondent and discouraged today. Listen, that fame of yesterday is nothing compared to the glory that is about to come, but only to be seen by those that are willing to persevere and do everything that it takes to rise beyond the storm. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for connecting with me. I love you all. Hope to see you again in the future. Remember, the bottom is overcrowded, especially with bickering people. Let us all meet at the top, where we rub shoulders together and congratulate each other. Good night, everyone. God bless you.
Hello friends, it's time to grow your business with Longrich TV Network. Navigate to our Facebook page for more inspirational videos to help you grow your business. Longrich, better life, better future.
Don't forget to visit our head office in Randburg, number 366 Pretoria Avenue for weekly training and presentations. Longrich, better life, better future.